here because I was supposed to meet you. And I came here because I was supposed to fall in love with you.
Tayshia's journey as the Bachelorette ended in an incredible proposal, and we're reacting to her epic engagement. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. It has been a long road, but we finally have all of the answers to Tayshia's love story. We're going to react to her incredible engagement. But before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Gabby Gonta and Avery Grooms. Hi, guys. So it has been quite the season. I think this has been one of the hardest seasons to predict. Up until the very last moment, I was literally on the edge of my seat. But we finally can talk about Tayshia's happy ending with Zach, and I want to know all of your thoughts. I feel like we've been talking about this for such a long time. So, first of all, were you guys happy to see Zach as the last man standing out of all of these incredible guys? Were you thrilled that Zach won? Were you impressed with the proposal? What were your feelings in that moment, Gabby?
I was so happy for Zach. I think it took a while for Zach to grow on me this season, but in just the last few episodes, I've seen their connection be so strong. And I feel like the whole time he's always been a little bit one step ahead of all the other guys, even though they were all so amazing. So I think it just was a perfect happy ending to see them just so happy together, doing that proposal together at the end of this episode.
I totally agree. It's definitely been a long time coming. I feel like Zach has been super consistent, and just seeing them together at the end during that proposal moment, it was just so clear how happy both of them were. And I was just so relieved for both of them. I felt like it was a weight off of their shoulders, a weight off of our shoulders. And I'm just so happy it was a happy ending and it all worked out.
I know. And all things considered, I feel like we've been talking a lot about how making the decision is going to be so difficult. Don't envy her position because all of these guys are so great and she had such strong connections. But really, when push came to shove, she seemed pretty confident in her decision with Zach. It didn't even come down to two proposals. That was it. It was Zach. She made her choice. So, I mean, I know we've talked about this. He's been a front runner basically this entire time. He has stood out. They have had amazing chemistry. What do you think it was about Zach that just tipped the scales? You know what I mean? What was that special Zach quality that made him the one, if you had to guess? What do you think, Avery?
I think because he was a little hard to read at the beginning, she just kept wanting more, and it kind of kept Tayshia on her toes, kept her guessing. But he was also very persistent in letting her know how he feels and how genuine he felt about her, or how genuine the feelings were, because this was such a serious thing for him. He already had been married. So is Tayshia. And I just feel like when he was expressing himself to her, that he was so honest and just so adamant about letting her know how worthy he is of being her husband.
I think so too. I think the main qualities that Tayshia loved in Zach the most were probably just his confidence and his age and just all the experience that he's been through. I remember her saying that she normally goes for younger guys, and clearly that hasn't worked out in the past. So I think when she had this older, handsome, mysterious guy that started falling for her, she really just ran with it. And he's just always so confident. He seems to always say the right thing. And like she said multiple times, I was trying to find something wrong with him, and it just kept getting better and better. So it seemed like a fairy tale for sure.
I completely agree with you guys. I think that, there's one thing to be a front runner, but it's another thing to I think as she was walking into the engagement, she said to Chris Harrison, I don't actually think I've ever been in love like this before ever. So he clearly really unlocked a new part of her, took things to the next level. But I do want to mix it up and just ask a little bit of a skeptical question here. I totally am all in. I'm so happy for her. I see their connection. But for argument's sake, if Brendan had stayed, would it be Zach? I know she basically bluntly told all of us oh, I thought Brendan was winning this thing. And of course, a lot can happen, and a lot did happen in her relationship with Zach from where she was in that moment. But what do you guys think? Had Brendan been on a completely different page, all in, feeling super ready to propose, would he have ended up being the one? What do you think, Gabby?
Possibly. I think it would have been a tougher decision, but just based on comparing Brendan and Zach, I think Zach's confidence again is just through the roof. And I feel like Brendan could have never gotten there. I mean, there's certainly different personalities. Brendan is a lot more reserved, and Zach is kind of like crazy out there. So I think she would have compared them in that sense of like, he's so ready. Whereas Brendan, even if he stayed and tried to, fight through any of his hesitations, I feel like there still would have been a really big contrast that would put Zach ahead of him, even though I love Brendan still. And, um, they could have had a good relationship. Would there be more time on this show?
I'm not sure because I thought it was kind of interesting how on her date with Zach, she was super nervous when it was already kind of like set in stone it was going to be him. But when she was going to look at rings with Brendan, she was way more calm. And that was kind of more foreshadowing an engagement than Zach and Tayshia's date was. So I feel like that was kind of telling in itself. And then, of course, just the fact that Brendan wasn't all there. I don't think there was a way that could be changed. And she didn't really seem as all there with him either, definitely compared to Zach. So I definitely still think it would be Zach.
I totally agree. I think that Brendan and Tayshia were a really, really great couple. And I think that Brendan is an amazing guy. Someone on Twitter said Brendan for Bachelor. Like, I am not mad at Brendan by any means. I think he's going to find love one day and it's going to be wonderful. But I do agree with you guys. I think when push comes to shove, Zach was going to be our winner. Obviously, I mean, listen, there has literally never been a season like this before. Forget just Tayshia's side of things. Like, we had a whole other Bachelorette who found love in 5 minutes. Like, it has been a crazy roller coaster. And one of the things that I feel like is so nuts is a lot of us have been so wrong, including Reality Steve, who is the king of the spoilers and typically is super in the know and gets it right. I feel like we were all kind of led to believe, based on his theories, based on Chris Harrison's teasers, that she wasn't getting engaged. I mean, this has been truly one of the most shocking twists and turns I think I've ever seen. What about you, Avery?
I think so. And I'm definitely happy that Reality Steve was wrong. He was saying that she wasn't going to get engaged at the end of this. And then I think I even saw something where she was going to pick one guy and then was going to go back to someone else. And I was definitely worried about that, especially when Ben came back into the picture. I was like, is this going to steer her another way? But I'm really glad it worked out.
I think the proposal was a complete roller coaster. Like, there were moments when it seemed like they were going to get an engagement. He was going to propose. And then like 2 seconds later, she was crying and it was like, is she going to like stop him? And then the next second, Zach was crying and it's like, is he going to do it? Like, is this going to happen? So it was certainly an emotional roller coaster for me. I'm so glad that it ended happily and that he did actually end up proposing. But like you were saying, this is a crazy season. I'm shocked that Reality Steve was wrong, but I'm glad because I like this ending a lot better. And just comparing it directly to Clare and Dale's, honestly, it's like the complete opposite because that was like so quick, barely like got to see them fall in love and, not much there. And then this proposal with Zach and Tayshia was like so heartfelt and they were both in tears and you could see how real the emotion was. So it was beautiful. It was definitely one of my favorite proposals.
I totally agree with you. I think that was one of the most I feel like with this show, there are very rare moments where I feel like I'm a fly on the wall and like a private personal moment and not like just tuning into a really great reality show. And that proposal really felt like super emotional, super vulnerable, and just super genuine for the two of them. So obviously we hope that they are still happy and will be happy for many, many years to come. Another little funny, spoiler, not spoiler moment throughout this crazy season. Tayshia, of course, denied being engaged. They all have to basically lie to us. We forgive them for that. But she did. Do you guys remember she posted that Instagram story with a big old engagement ring, peeking out behind an iced coffee or something? That was technically a little bit of a slip up on her part. I feel like we haven't talked about this since then. What are your thoughts to her rocking her ring and posting it on socials, Gabby?
I'm surprised she got away with it. I feel like, we talked about it, we called her out on it, and she sort of just slid it under the rug, and we trusted her that, maybe it was an accident or maybe it was on purpose, like who knows, but we were all still going to tune in and find out how it all ended. So I think she came out on top, even though she had a little bit of a slip up, but I think it's super cute that she's just wearing it and they're happy now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome that she got away with doing that. Do we know if that was the ring for sure? Have we done that detective work to make sure? There's
So
could be a
he ended up
possibility it's not.
he ended up getting her an emerald cut diamond, I believe. And if I remember correctly, I think the ring in the picture was a little more on like the square shape, which would kind of track. I mean, of course there are so many possibilities. But yeah, I think that it definitely doesn't look like a completely opposite ring. That's for sure. It looks like it could be the one, to say the least. All right, you guys. So obviously the only question left on the table is, do we think they are still together? And if they are still together, are they going to be one of our long-term Bachelorette success stories? Bachelorette has a better track record than The Bachelor. So are we going to add Tayshia and Zach to that very happy list? What do you think, Avery?
I think so because she was so careful about this decision. And even Zach, before this, his mom was saying he never wanted to get married and have kids. And he wouldn't do this unless he was 100% sure. And same goes with Tayshia. They had this conversation many, many times. So I trust them that this is going to work. And even if there are bumps in the road, I for sure see them pulling through because they're just such a strong couple together.
I agree. They're seriously so cute. I think we saw multiple times throughout the season they were both nervous about getting engaged unless it was going to be the final time. So I think for that reason, and just because of the purely genuine proposal that we witnessed, that they're just going to start an amazing life together. And I hope they are together long term. I'm sure it'll be for, a handful of years at first, hopefully for the long haul, and we can add them to one of the successful Bachelor Nation couples list.
All right, you guys. Well, we of course want to know what you think. Were you thrilled to see Zach and Tayshia get engaged at the end of this? And do you think that they will last for many years to come? Let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell because we have The Bachelor to look forward to, and we will continue to cover all things Bachelor Nation here on Shared News. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Gabby Gonta and Avery Grooms. If you want to come say hi on socials, our handles are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.